Ever wondered how to make your photos look like they belong in a blockbuster movie? I'll uncover the secrets of color grading and show you how to transform your images with this powerful technique. It's all in today's episode of
Ask David Bergman.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Adorama TV. I'm David Bergman, here to answer your burning photography questions. Got a question? Just head over to askdavidbergman.com and submit it. You might see it featured on a future episode. Today's question was sent in by Cody B, and he wants to know, David, first let me say thank you for your years of education. I've been a fan for a long time. My question is about color grading in relation to photography. Is it important? Why do I need it? Cody, that's awfully nice of you to say. I certainly appreciate that. The truth is, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without photographers like you who tune in for every show. So thank you for your years of watching. Now let's dive right into your question. Color grading is often associated with film and video, but it's equally powerful in still photography. First, let's clarify the difference between color correction and color grading and why both are important. Now, once a photo shoot is over and the images are in your computer, that's where the real magic begins. Post-processing is essential, and it varies depending on your style and your subject. Let's look at my portrait here of actress, singer, and comedian Emily Zeller to illustrate. Now here's what it looks like straight out of the camera. I use Capture One to process my RAW files, but it's basically the same if you use Lightroom or Camera Raw in Photoshop. Now I have a few basic things I do to pretty much every image. Like first I'll do a crop if it needs it. Then I'll adjust exposure, add a little vignette, and in this case, I'll do some more advanced things like darkening the highlights on her neck, which I think needs to be brought down a little bit, and I'll brighten up her face just a little bit. Remember, your eye always goes to the brightest part of an image first, so I want to make sure you see her face first thing. I'm also going to clean up any spots on the background or hair and dust on her sweater. Yes, I know we should have used a lint roller on the shoot at the time, but it is what it is, and we can fix it now. Now then I'll take a look at the overall color. I probably had my white balance set on auto, and since I'm shooting RAW, I know I can make any color changes I want without losing quality. In this case, I think the original is a bit too warm, so I'll move my Kelvin scale down from 6799 where it was shot to 5700. That still leaves a little warmth in her skin without overdoing it. That right there is color correction. It's just making sure the overall colors are accurate and natural. You might have an unwanted color cast that you can remove, or you might just need to do what I did and shift the overall color so her skin looks like it did in real life. Now I could easily stop here and be happy. Here's the before, and here's the after. There's nothing wrong with this image, but I can actually take it a step further. Color grading is a creative process. You can manipulate your image to achieve a specific look or mood. It's really about style, storytelling, and emotion. And it's not just color, it's also about tones, highlights and shadow, and even things like clarity, glow, and grain. For example, if you know the work of celebrity portrait photographer Annie Leibovitz, she has a very identifiable style. Many of her portraits have this painterly quality to it. Now, yes, I know some of it has to do with how she lights her subjects, but she definitely has color grading applied to give her work a unique look and add some emotion. Let's go back to the portrait of Emily in Capture One and see if I can get close to that Annie look. Now, there are literally dozens of ways to color grade images. It's not something I do to my work too often, so I'm really not an expert as far as this goes, but let's see what I can do. Now, Capture One has super convenient AI masking tools where I can separate the subject and background. I'll start by working on the background only, and using the color balance wheels, I'll make it more green. Then I'll select my subject, and maybe I'll make the highlights a bit more yellow-green and push the shadows a bit more towards blue-green. This is just affecting the subject, not touching the background. Now, I can also bring down the saturation on her a bit so the tones are a bit more muted. And maybe let's make the overall image more contrasty and lower the clarity setting to smooth out everything just a little bit. Now that's just a quick color grade that's kind of like Annie Leibovitz's style, and I'm not sure that I really like this version, but it should give you just a little taste of what can be done. Again, this is only one way to do it. You can manually go in and select specific color ranges and adjust however you want. But you can also go ahead and just buy presets. A lot of people sell presets. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an Annie Leibovitz style preset for Lightroom that somebody out there already made. Capture One also sells styles, and there are programs like Luminar that have a bunch of them built in. I used it here to make this version of my Emily photo. It took just a couple clicks in Luminar, and I like it much better than the version that I did myself. Now here's another photo I've made of my friend Brogan right here in the studio using that same Luminar preset with just a couple tweaks. It looks like this. That, my friends, is color grading. Now, Cody, you asked if you need to color grade your images. Well, every movie you see in the theater has been color graded. Some are more than others, and it's done to give the film a particular look. If you've seen them, I bet you can picture what the recent Dune movies look like. There are actually two distinct looks in the movie. A significant portion of the film is dominated by these earthy, sandy colors with shades of browns and beige, but it switches to much cooler tones in scenes where they're indoors. Pay attention next time you're watching the film. But do you need to color grade still photos? Absolutely not. It's just a creative tool that you can use on your images. It also depends what you shoot. If you're a photojournalist, for example, your images should reflect reality as closely as possible. I mostly shoot concerts, and I only do the most basic color correction on my images because I want to show the concert as it looked to the audience. But for more artistic work, knock yourself out. Go crazy. Color grading is a powerful tool that can really elevate your images and help you tell a more compelling visual story. It's completely subjective, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's all about what looks good to you and fits your creative vision. So what do you think? Have you experimented with color grading in your own photography? I'd love to hear how you're doing it and any tips that you have. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get the conversation started. Don't forget to send your photo questions in to askdavidbergman.com. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the Adorama YouTube channel. Ring that bell to get notified about new videos from me and all the amazing hosts on Adorama TV. Thanks so much for joining me. As always, I hope you'll come back next time right here on Ask David Bergman.